Okay, my friends, this is about Velikovsky, and this is under Fair Use Act. Listen to what they have to say about him in the preface of this book about Velikovsky.
I'm told the ideas are unreasonable. Obviously, everyone cannot take the time to study in detail every new idea that is postulated, so even scientists often must rely on the word of others. At first, it was relatively easy for some scientists to persuade other scientists not to take Velikovsky's work seriously because his ideas were not the opinions that had been held sacred by the scientific community. Distorted, sensationalized reviews and misrepresentations about what Velikovsky said made it even easier to convince some scientists that they need not investigate the theory. As more was learned about our solar system, a number of scientists began to realize that Velikovsky's theory conflicted only with accepted opinions and did not actually conflict with known facts. Some scientists, who originally committed themselves to irrational attacks on Velikovsky and his work, then felt constrained to defend their actions. One of their methods was to try to convince the public, and as many other scientists as possible, that no qualified scientist or historian would ever investigate anything Velikovsky said.
And it worked. It worked very well. They destroyed him from history. His book, Worlds in Collision, talks about a basic almost impact of Earth by Venus, which ended up hitting Mars. And all of that stuff shows very, very solid evidence now. All the scars are there. Even the Grand Canyon, I believe, was one of the impact sites. There is much to be learned, and they forced his book off the bookshelf. He was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, 11 weeks in a row. It was called Worlds in Collision, and they forced the publisher to take it back. It's just like they're doing now. I heard something about a 60 minutes with some kind of a show on 60 Minutes, and they were going to air it, and the next day they said, no, we're going to take it out. But one day before they were going to do it, he already had his book out, and it was so popular that they forced the publisher to recall the book. And then they went after him and just were as nasty could be. Now, he was in the highlight, so because he was a friend of Einstein, he was a well-known guy. I am a nobody. They're doing the same thing to me. They just have to be quiet. But originally, it started out, I was being attacked. And that just went away because they can't attack me. There's no way to do that. With the evidence I have, it's just impossible. So they have withdrawn to be absolutely silent. So that we have to correct. So they told everybody, don't listen to these guys. Don't look into it. Just forget about it. It's crazy. Anybody that would say these kind of things is nuts. Because he was saying things that just, the Venus was coming around and whacking planets and everything else. Who's going to believe that? And they didn't. And once they attacked him for being an idiot, they stayed behind that. And that's what happens. They take a position and they're stuck. And it happens on both sides. It happens on the academic side. It happens on the religious side, where they have to say a certain thing because it said it somewhere in the Bible or whatever. Now, Velikovsky went and took information from every culture on Earth. Everyone. Not just one here, not just one there. He went all around the world. And he got the same basic story. And it relates to this catastrophism and the flood story, the boiling of the oceans and everything else. And it was not 250 million years ago.
This is completely unfounded, as will be demonstrated throughout this book. Another method was to repeat previously accepted dogma, as if it were unalterable fact, and have defenders of this dogma publish supposedly scientific treatises which were irrational or irrelevant and sometimes unethical. This book contains replies to the most common misrepresentations. In addition, this book was written to provide a complete overview of the theory and to demonstrate that this well-thought-out theory has considerable support from many fields. For a more complete understanding of Velikovsky's ideas, the reader should refer to Velikovsky's books and the continuing analysis of his ideas, which is available in the journal Chronos from Glassboro State College, Glassboro, New Jersey. Although Velikovsky has encouraged me during the preparation of this work, he did not see the manuscript before publication. All of the mistakes are mine, and his work should not be judged harshly on the basis of any errors that are my own. C.J. Ransom, Fort Worth, Texas.
All right, he's trying to stand behind him and say, hey, they beat this guy up when they shouldn't have. They should have looked at his work, and it's just like my stuff. They should look at it. Somebody should do a peer review and say, wait, this isn't right because of whatever. I don't care what. But without looking at it, without investigating, there's just no scientific advancement. And it's like he said, they put up a dogma, they go to the old stuff, bring it back up, just keep saying it, they'll accept it. But, you know, I've shown so much evidence to support my side of it, there is no more evidence I can support. I can bring, even like asteroid Bennu. Every single bit of it is there as life. Even the gum that they just found, and they said, ooh, there's gum, we have no idea. Well, the gum is the sarcoplasmic reticulum. It's the gooey stuff that pulls muscle fibers together. So, okay, my friends, I like to get validation. Everybody likes to get validated. And this guy, John, he says, this information is so crazy because it's true. I've been employed for an excavation company for the last 10 years. Every time we've been in virgin ground, nice clean soil, there's 3 layers are always within 3 to 6 feet of the surface. They always find them. It's worldwide. Now, but he also says, well, he says, you are completely correct about these layers being everywhere, although there are some areas where erosion has exceeded the depth, so it's already been below that. It's taken it away, which eliminates these deposits. Well, you know, that's going to happen. But those 3 layers are worldwide, and that's fully understood, the Triassic. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay, my friends, as you know, I have DNA tested and CAT scanned some bits and pieces of giant human beings. DNA is absolutely certified as human. Now, I have discovered that the Ivy League universities appear to be conspiratorial places to create wasted human life, literally wastes of human life, so that they cannot think for themselves, they're not able to speak for themselves. They are literally wasted human lives. No ability to comprehend what they see because they have been mentalcided and told, don't look at these kind of things, don't look at these kind of things. Velikovsky was my hero and still is. Now, he goes back to 1950, his book, Worlds in Collision, and they actually, the academics, forced him to take it off the bookshelf. 11 weeks on #1 on the bestseller list, New York Times bestseller list. And the publisher said, if you don't take this off and remove that book from the shelves, we will never buy another book from you because you are destroying our credibility. Their credibility is totally destroyed. It's absolutely, totally destroyed. However, they have such power over the average mind, and when I say average, I'm saying a mind that thinks that what they're told by these universities has to be true because it's from Yale or Harvard or one of these places. And I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, they care nothing about truth. Truth means literally zero. and I have shown this for 15 years. And at some point, I have enough evidence to support my statements that it can't go on forever. But it will probably go on after I'm dead, unless somebody picks up on this and starts to speak. Because they can crush the average person. They can destroy their lives. They force them to pay huge amounts of money to get into these Ivy League universities. And once they're there, if they don't say what they're told to say, they fail them, they keep their money, and they tell everybody that the guy's an idiot because he or she could not repeat what they were told is fact. Regardless of the evidence that shows it's just a total nonsense. Now, hopefully, asteroid Bennu, the sample they brought back to Earth, and they have identified it as biology. There's no question whatsoever. It's a muscle. The asteroid Bennu is a heart, and there's no way they can deny this forever. So I'm hoping this will turn around, but I don't see a whole lot of it. I show evidence, it means nothing. Let me show you something. This page right here, geology page, I give them 100% credit for allowing me to speak. This is very rare. Usually they cut you off. They won't let you speak because, oh, these guys are just being nonsense. He's ruining our page because he's posting nonsense. No, I'm posting verifiable things. Okay, a little interruption there, but this geology page, I would give them a lot of credit because they allow me to speak. Very, very rare. This is red muscle. And, you know, you people that are Mudfossil people, you understand this. And this is the layers of tissue. Now, this, I believe, is an abrupt transition. Now, apparently, I would think they drilled these holes into this separation between these two layers, and they can see there's this abrupt transition. Now, I am pretty sure that that is the abrupt transition between muscle on one side and tendon on the other. So let me show you mine, but the people that are on this, I can't show anything. Look, this is Comet 67P. It's a hip joint in space. Roger Spur, are you okay, chap? Roger Spur, nut bar. And they send these silly things, and they put all these stupid little faces, you know, delusional. This is the kind of stuff they do, bullshit. And it goes on and on and on. It doesn't matter what I post. Look, I said, did you know they did a survey at Yellowstone? Quite obvious what they found. They must know that biology breaks down and creates combustion. You must know that. Obviously, these people are so smart, they should understand that. Spontaneous combustion is when you cover a bunch of biology and it will erupt into spontaneous combustion just as Yellowstone is. What does that look like to you? They got these stupid little faces. You keep sinking deeper into the pit of stupidity. Learn about reality, dude. And it goes on and on and on. There's nothing that I can present. I'm showing them the details from Bennu. And I show them the evidence. And I get these stupid little faces. There's no understanding by these people whatsoever. The only thing that they can do is say stupid, ridiculous things. Look at this. The older our species becomes, the more we learn, and the more ridiculous and arrogant organized religion becomes. They hate God. It's because they think that these things are here to support God. The first words out of the person from Yale, Derek Briggs, when I told him that I had found mud fossils and some of them were giant, the first words out of his mouth was, "What are you, a creationist?" I said, "What are you talking about? This is fossils." And they go on and on. Look at this guy, Peter Cooper. Might be something wrong up there. Yes, Peter, there is, with you, my friend. And it goes on and on and on. Crazy, crazy alert. There's a nutcase in the room. They're trying to push me out, but I can't believe, look at this troll. Where are science pages full of comments from escaped lunatics? This is the problem that you run into. They will not let you speak. Geology page, I am really, really impressed that they have let me speak. I am very impressed. Okay, you're mud fossil people. You know that this is blood, and this is tissue, and this is an abrupt transition, and this was more than likely a mud fossil that attached to a bone somewhere or whatnot. But I start posting about the fact that this comet 67P, in chemistry, they went out there. It's 100% biology. They landed on it, the European Space Agency, in 2015. It's 10 years ago. And I have all the details. I have the chemistry and all that stuff. They announced everything. And they just went to Bennu and they just announced it also is 100% biology. And I mean 100%. They have the DNA, the uracil, and even the reticulum, the gooey stuff, the gum. The universe is made of giant creatures, as they said in ancient texts. 100% of culture said that. 100%. The 100% had giants, 100% had dragons, and it's a hard reality, but it's true. And then, are you okay, chap? You're a nutcase, you're a nut bar, you're insane, you're bullshit, you're on and on and on, and delusional, and they attack you like crazy. All I show them is evidence. Now, then they talk about Bible thumpers and, you keep seeping deeper into the pit of stupidity. Well, I'm showing actual evidence. I never, ever, ever make a statement that I can't stand behind with evidence. I'm showing this, and all they said, these stupid little faces they put up, because they can't, there's nothing they can say to deny what I am saying. And what happens is they turn around, they go to religious or arrogant or organized religious Bible thumpers, on and on and on and on and on. And here's the problem. Here's another guy. Hey, here, Roger Spur's an insane person. Here we go, waiting for my daily dose of comedy. Bible thumpers crawling out from under their caves, waving the Bible book of fantasy. Proof of the flood. Well, I have proof of the flood. And all they do is crazy alert and just nonsense after trying to call me an absolute lunatic for my statements that are backed in reality. Now, here's my problem, is that I can show evidence and supported evidence, but a lot of the people that collect around me starts to saying the earth is flat, we've never been off the earth, there's a glass dome around the earth, that we've never been into space, we've never gone to Mars or Bennu or any of that stuff, which is just nonsense. That is real, totally nonsense. And I'm done with that nonsense. All right, that is what's destroying my channel. I'm not destroying their channel. I'm showing evidence. These people that are posting about this, the earth is flat and all that stuff, it's just those people are literally mental-sided because they love God. Well, what they did was they supported these people that hate God by saying these crazy things. They're just not true. And I don't like people that say things that aren't true. I don't like them at all. So if you want to love God, fine. But be real in reality. Don't post things that are just totally lies. Just total lies. And I'm done with that kind of stuff because it's just destroyed my evidence. And here we go. Social media never fails to highlight the absolute ignorance of humanity. I can show everything clearly. And I never make statements like we've never been off the earth and the earth's water would spin into space. And just absolute nonsense. That's what's destroyed me. All right, you see this right here? This is taking pictures from anywhere around the northern hemisphere up, pointing directly at the North Star. Because anywhere on the northern hemisphere, when you look up, you can see the North Star. That's how you know how to go north. Well, let me talk about a little more about that, because the North Star is here. As the Earth spins and you look up there, you will end up taking pictures of a circular pattern. But you can't see the North Star from down below here. You can't see it because the Earth blocks your way. The Earth is spinning and you can see all that. Now, this is my issue. Now, they say all you got to do is look for the North Star to find your way north. You cannot always see the North Star. You can't always see the North Star everywhere, as it is only visible in the northern hemisphere. That's the top part of the Earth. If you're underneath trying to look up, the Earth is in your way. You can't see it. And here's my problem, is that the people that want to understand reality and truth and want to look for God and all that stuff, they are looking at some Bible passages long, long ago to talk about the Earth being flat and there's a firmament and you can't get through the firmament. And they are ruining my information because they come up and they support academia by saying, oh yeah, the Earth is flat and there's no such thing as space, and we never got off it. They're all liars, and it's all CGI. Well, that's not true. I know what's right and what isn't right. I look and I see it by evidence. I don't see it by some page that was written thousands of years ago that said the Earth is flat, when there was no way for them to know whether the Earth was flat or not. Although they did realize the Earth was not flat, and there was all kinds of discussion about that back then, but now there should be no discussion at all. I mean, it's just so completely obvious the Earth is round and it spins. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, and you're trying to look for the North Star, you can't see it because you're down under and the Earth is in the way. It's quite obviously round. So this is what disturbs me about the people that want to embrace the stories of the past, and that there were gods here, not just one God, there was a lot of gods. And that all of this stuff, I'm in conflict with everybody now. But I only support what I say with evidence. I never say anything that there's no evidence to support it. I am a material scientist, and I will not allow being destroyed by either side. So I'm going against Yale and the rest of them, Yale specifically. And I'm going against you people that are saying the Earth is flat and we've never been to space. Of course we've been to space. We've been to Mars. These are the things I show, and they say, oh, that's a big lie. That's a big lie. The people that are looking for God end up supporting the academics that say, listen to what these fools are saying. They're saying the Earth is flat. Nobody's ever been to space. Obviously, you're not helping the cause, you're hurting the cause, and you're not taking into account reality, and it's just not working. This is not good. If you want reality and you want to know about God, you're going to first have to look at truth. And if you can't look at truth, then you should just wipe yourself off the face of the planet, because you are a wasted human life. If you cannot look at truth and not understand what you see. Sometimes very hard to understand it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's things that I can't explain, but I can show them. I like the giant, the huge dragons and stuff like that. They're here. Of that, there is no question. And this gigantic fish, and that was written about in Apollodorus. Of this, there is no question, but it is on a round earth. These were gods. They could change themselves into anything they wanted, and apparently they turned themselves into gigantic creatures to fight each other, and then they died and during that fight, and here's their bodies here on Earth. But the Earth is not flat. We have been to space. We have been to Mars, and I am showing evidence that supports the truth of our history. And I'm not making up things. I'm not making up nonsense about, oh, you can't get out of here. There's a firmament. There's a big glass dome over here. No. There is an ionosphere which separates the waters above, which is atomic vapor. It's just little bits and pieces of dipoles. And then below, down close to the Earth, it condenses. And those are the waters below that are actual waters. But you got to come to reality before you can start to help this situation of us understanding our past and God and everything else. You're only supporting the academics by going against the truth and the fact that the Earth is round, the Earth spins, it's not on four poles, and I mean, it's just unbelievable the things these people are claiming. And I agree with the academics that it's just total nonsense. So to do that total nonsense is nothing more than supports them. When I'm showing actual physical evidence that shows that they're wrong, and it shows that you're wrong, it doesn't matter to either side.